I finally hit a nerve with one of my videos, and this is a video response to it, where I kind of blasted Startup Battle, and I didn't really blast Startup Battle. It's funny because everyone thought, I guess what they're responding to is my last comment when I said Startup Weekend doesn't have your interests at heart. And let me explain what I meant by that. What I meant is that if they had your interest at heart, they would tell you the fact realities. They would start it off by saying, listen guys, these are the stats. It's really hard to be an entrepreneur, and you know, less than 1% of you are going to succeed. So in this room, maybe, probably, in all likelihood, none of you are going to get your ideas off. You know, I just want you to know the truth. You know, no one ever told me that as an entrepreneur, right? And I thought that I had an equal chance with everyone else as an entrepreneur, right? And when I did Startup America, you know, I was under that illusion, and it wasn't until I started doing some due diligence, and just by the nature of the, you know, I just dive into the startup thing, that I started uncovering the truth. And really, after I did Startup America, what sparked it off was a phone interview I did with Adeo from The Funded, and basically I asked him a number of questions, and he was actually impressed by those questions. I said, one, what's your vision? He told me that. Two, I said, what's your problem? All right, and his answer was scalability, which we addressed. And three, I said, you know, what's the reality? What's the success? You know, you're the person, you know this stuff, right? He's a major player in this field, right? And he rattled off some numbers, which I can rattle off for you, but basically, you know, there's 10 million. If there's 14 million business plans submitted each year, there's got to be at least 10 million, 100 million ideas, right? Is that off, right? I don't think so. So 100 million ideas is my number out of the United States. I think there's 100 million business ideas a year. There's 400 million people. That means, I mean, what I'm saying, everyone walking around has an idea. At least, you know, not everyone, but a quarter of the people. And some people like me, when I did like Startup America, I pitched 11% of the ideas. So some of us have tons of ideas. So, you know, and what percent of the population has 11% of the ideas? Well, you know, what percent of the population of me out of 400 million are there? And I think I don't think I'm unique. I think there's probably quite a few. I think there's probably at least 5 of me. No, just joking. So my, you know, my point was, the simple fact that you're missing was that Startup America partnership calls you an idea. But the event is Startup Weekend. Understand what I'm saying? It's Startup Weekend. So, or maybe I need to, you know, maybe my problem is it should be Startup Ideas, or I don't know, Startup Weekend. So, you know, maybe I should be, you know, they're not ideas at Startup Weekend. So maybe my misinterpretation is, which I'm just thinking now, which I could interpret it as, is that Startup Weekend is a place where you know, you start it and the goal is to turn them into startups, whatever. But, and then talking to another guy who was part of Startup Weekend, he gave me a number of 10%, but I don't believe it. Okay, that about 10% of Startup Weekend projects go on to becoming startups. Well, or launch, right, or continue, whatever. But you know, what does that mean? You know, I have a very clear, succinct definition of a startup: pre-seed, seed, and seeded. It's very simple. Okay, so what percentage? I want to know what percentage of Startup Weekend startups become seeded or seed, right? What percent become seeded, and what percent become actually pre-seed startups, meaning they're companies, right? So how many incorporate? How many of those incorporate get over 100,000, and how many of those that get over 100,000 actually get to 2 million? Their private placement, right? I don't think they probably had, you know, I don't know. I'd like to know those figures. Can you provide them to me for Startup America? It'd be nice for us to know them.